Hi. There's a topic I'd like to talk about today that's a bit more serious than usual. Some events in my life have inspired me to speak about the way we treat each other as people. This is not prompted by anything that happened to me online. I'm in a position of relative privilege with a laid-back audience who seems to get along pretty well. This is also not a political message, though it is relevant to the tension and divisiveness that people are feeling right now in the United States and around the world. Everywhere I've been lately, the frustration is palpable. A lot of people are suffering right now and having trouble getting along with each other. I'd like to suggest some small ways that we can all add some everyday positivity to each other's lives. With small gestures of kindness, maybe we can find some common ground and begin to understand each other better. First point, people are all the same. Age, gender, upbringing, background, nationality, affiliation, social status, and many other things might seem to set us apart, but we all share the same underlying humanity. There are many universal things that we all have in common, and when language and cultural barriers are broken down, it's often amazing just how much is the same for everyone around the world. There may be more things that are part of the universal human condition than we tend to realize. Second point, people are all different. Every individual has had and will continue to have a completely unique experience of the world. I've seen many conflicts arise from a person assuming that everyone else's experience matches their own. It's a very easy assumption to make by accident. Just try to remember that if someone sees something differently from you, it's been filtered through the lens of their own experience, just as the way you see things has been filtered through the lens of your own experience. Third point, people are people. Remember that, with a few obvious exceptions, every forum post you read is made by a real person. Every YouTube comment you read was written by a real person. Service workers you encounter every day are real people. Other drivers on the road are real people. The modern world has created many easy ways to dehumanize the people we interact with every day, and it sometimes takes a conscious effort to rehumanize them. Here are some small things we can do to show kindness and encourage positivity. If you're at a restaurant, or a store, or some other place where you deal with someone serving you, think about what you can do to make their job easier. Find ways to be efficient about your transaction. Imagine how they'll remember the experience of serving you once they're done, and if you're going to stand out in their mind among everyone else they served that day, try to make it so that you stand out in a positive way. If you're writing a forum post, or a comment, or an email, or a chat message, or anything else directed at someone, give it a quick read before sending to make sure it comes across well. Be willing to edit what you wrote, or even scrap the whole thing. If you're angry while you're writing, try waiting a day before sending. Written communication usually has some amount of permanence, so it's worth putting in a little bit of extra effort to get it exactly right. If someone is trying to start a conflict with you, seek to disarm and de-escalate. Respect is not won by arguing or fighting. If you want to make a counterpoint in an argument, try to find a way to phrase it as a story of your experience instead of an opposing opinion. If you can set up a situation where someone has the appropriate context to draw a particular conclusion for themselves, that's a much more powerful tool than trying to tell them your own conclusion directly. If you want to criticize someone's work, see if you can phrase it as a positive suggestion for change rather than a negative suggestion about what you don't like. Hey, what if you did X instead of Y? I think it might work better because of Z. Sounds a lot better than, I really don't like X. You should have done Y instead. Phrasing your criticism as a positive suggestion makes it more likely for a person to consider ways to improve their work, rather than feel the need to defend it and discard your criticism. After any kind of negative interaction with someone, take a step back and consider whether there was anything reasonable you could have done to avert it. This doesn't mean to automatically put the blame on yourself for everything that goes wrong, but simply to be continually looking for ways to self-improve. Most conflicts aren't completely one-sided, so it's usually possible to find something about your own behavior that you might be able to work on to make future encounters go more smoothly. Try to be a better person than you were the previous year, every year. These are just a few of the principles I try to follow in my daily life. I think they've served me pretty well so far. If you're anything like me, you might not get a whole lot of opportunities to observe human behavior and drama up close. I think it's valuable to get to know the real story of the struggles people face so that we can all understand each other better. I'm not really a Redditor, but if you're looking for a place to read about the interpersonal conflicts faced by a variety of people, I'd suggest spending some time at the Relationships subreddit. It can be both a source of entertainment and enlightenment. After reading it for some time, I found that there are a lot of remarkably consistent patterns of human behavior that showed up time and time again. Anyway, I hope you are able to get at least something out of this speech. I look forward to a day when we can all get along in perfect harmony, but until then, let's try to make just a few small positive changes that are within our reach.